lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drink is dandy. All the fun and candy, so
Let the game begin. The most horrifying movies have come to life.
Welcome back to tonight's showing. I am your host, Michael, and allow me to usher you into the past of HHN and introduce another iconic character that helped shape the history of Halloween Horror Nights. In tonight's horrifying history, we will be talking about the cinematic specter known as the Usher. Now, before we talk about the Usher anymore, please make sure that you are subscribed and have the bell notification turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure that you go down in the description and follow both my Instagram and my Twitter, because if you are following them, then you would have known that I had my followers help pick this week's episode. So if you follow me over there, you could help pick future episodes. The year is 2009, and Universal had just finished up one of the most in-depth, story-driven years in the event's history, with Bloody Mary as the icon of the event. Now, creative was looking for an idea to help keep this momentum going into the next year of the event, and decided to turn to the idea of taking guests into the silver screen. Now, to do this, they needed some sort of person to help guide the guests throughout their movie experience. And that is where the character Julian Browning comes into play, but who people more know him as the Usher. Julian was the usher at the Universal Palace Theater in the 1920s. He was a lover of all movies, but was partial to the horror genre. Now, when Julian's favorite film, The Phantom of the Opera, was doing a re-release and returning to the Palace Theater in the 1940s, Julian was very excited. Now, during one of the showings of his favorite movie, a moviegoer decided to get a little bit rowdy, and Julian got in a little bit of an argument and a fight with this moviegoer. Now, the moviegoer at one point decided to take Julian's flashlight from him and throw it through the new screen at the Palace Theater, and Julian, trying not to get any more involved than he needed to be, went back to try to retrieve his flashlight and got caught up in one of the sandbags that was left over from when the Universal Palace Theater was a playhouse. And unfortunately, Julian got tangled up with this and got hoisted in the air, allowing him to slowly get strangled to death. Now, this death started the trend of many tragic events at the Universal Palace Theater, which many people link to Julian getting his revenge on the moviegoers who are not following the rules of the theater. Now, that was about it as far as his backstory goes. Now, there was a little bit more in-depth story as far as his revenge on the moviegoers, and that was more in detail on the website that built up as the event got closer. Now, during the build-up of the event, there was evidence that got released from week to week regarding the different murders that happened at the Palace Theater. Each murder case was showcased on the website and related to each house that was going to be at the event in some way. The first of the murder cases was titled Trapped, which was about a patron who was talking on his phone. When searching for a better reception, he got twisted up in a rusty staircase and slowly bled out. When his body was found, there was a bloody list of names next to his body that related to the names from the movie Saw. Now, Trapped and the list of names related to Saw, and Saw was at the event that year. Now, the rest of the houses that were at the event and their relation to the murder cases go as follows, starting off with Insane, which related to Child's Play and Chucky being at the event. The next being Missing, which was related to The Spawning, which was an original at the event. Then being Electrocuted, which was related to Frankenstein. Bloodless, which was related to Dracula. Savaged, which was related to the Wolfman. Severed, which was related to Leave It to Cleaver, the other original at the event. And finally, Strangled. And Strangled, of course, brought and tied every single one of those stories together and led it all back to Julian's story and his whole entire backstory. And then the website updated, showing off the trailer for the event and revealing every single house and every single scare zone for the year's event. Now, despite being the icon of the event, the Usher was only in one house, which was titled Silver Screams, located in the parade building. This was a mashup house of a bunch of classic and modern horror IPs, including the likes of The Thing, Phantom of the Opera, Army of Darkness, and The Strangers, and a whole lot more. I think My Bloody Valentine was also in there. But other than that, Julian did not make a lot of appearances at the event. He did appear outside at the entrance of the park in a ticket booth, and then as well as a couple screens in one of the scare zones called the Horrorwood Drive-In. But other than that, he didn't really make that much of a presence at the event, which is kind of disappointing and does go on par with how he's been treated at other events that he's been at, including HHN 30. He was not really as showcased well as the other icons, I felt. Now, as far as him being on merchandise as well as merchandise, he was not included on a single piece of merchandise at HHN 19, but the Palace Theater was included on a decent amount of the merchandise, so he kind of related to him in a way. But as far as the marketing goes, he was on a couple of television interviews for the event, as well as just interviews for newspapers and stuff where they got quotes from him. But other than that, he did not really have that much of a presence at the event. The biggest presence that he had for marketing was on that website, which made him the face of the event. But other than that, like I said, comparative to other icons in the past, he had one of the least important roles for the year. Now, I will say the Usher does have a cult following of fans who love his character, who love his image, just love him in general. Now, I will say I'm a decent fan for the Usher. He's not my top favorite icon, but I do love his story. I do love the whole idea of what he believes in and everything. And I do think that he is one of the more underappreciated icons. But I really hope that one day we get to see him headline another event and really get the spotlight that he deserves, because I think, like I said, he is one of the most underappreciated icons in HHN history. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you drop a like and also comment down below which icon would you like me to cover next, or would you like me to cover a specific event year, because I could cover an event year in general. Let me know in the comments. I would like to know. But as always, I'm Michael, this has been Hollow Thrills, and I'll see you guys next time.